Hey, what's up, guys? Ryan McGinn here with another muscle building, fat loss interview. And today I got, where are you from, Mike? I didn't even ask where you're from.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Mike Whitfield from Atlanta, Georgia. He is the bodyweight finishers guy, and pretty much his program has swept the world in the last, seems like year. Everybody's talking about bodyweight finishers and what they can do for you. And Mike, thanks for coming on this call. And, hopefully this video works out because sometimes it's a little sketchy. But, glad to have you here, and we'll talk about bodyweight finishers and helping people get shredded in less than 10 minutes a day, it seems like.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, too.
Good stuff. So, Mike, your story is incredible. You lost over 100 pounds, was it?
Yeah, 105 pounds to be exact.
So tell me a little bit about that. I mean, obviously you're utilizing your bodyweight finishers because that's kind of what came to be. But
Sure.
I mean, the mindset and the transformation that you've had to have gone through in that process is just huge. And I love talking to people about that. And that's what I love to hear, a little bit about.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I'm about to reach my 10-year anniversary of when I started this whole weight loss journey thing. As a matter of fact, it was in December of 2002 when I made the decision to go ahead and start losing weight. And it's funny because I was playing PlayStation and I threw an interception and I got upset. And so I threw the controller down, and when I went to bend down to pick it up, that's when I saw my stomach, and I was like, oh, my God. That's when I realized, okay, I got to do something about this. So I was also realistic and realized it was the middle of December, and so I jumped on the New Year's bandwagon like I'm sure a lot of people are doing this year. But I set a long-term goal of 50 pounds 6 months later, and I totally torched that goal. I actually lost 75 in 6 months. And then I've lost another 30 since then. But more importantly, I've been able to keep it off. And, of course, it was just a lot of people asked me, how'd you do it? And it was just old school diet and exercise. I used metabolic resistance training. I used these finishers. And it was hard work. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't anything easy. And when it came to food, I just simplified it. I was eating supersized, fast food meals and things like that. So obviously, okay, a better choice would be, let's go to the mall and instead maybe go for some lean cuts of chicken and some green beans or something like that. So I really wasn't on a specific diet, but I just started to make better choices. And as the results came, certainly my mindset changed, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. How much weight total has it been? Like, how much did you lose total now?
105 pounds altogether.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, that's crazy. That's like a whole person just cut off of you. Like, when you think about it, it's just like, wow. That's so
Absolutely.
Because I actually, about 12 weeks ago was realized that, man, I'm looking like shit. I don't really look very good right now. So I've been on the transformation kick right now, and I've just reinvigorated my love for bodybuilding and doing all the 4 sets of 10, 5 sets of 10, high volume stuff, and just been loving it because I spent about, I guess it was I trained with Elliot Hulse. For those listening, that if you don't know who he is, look him up on YouTube. Big, strong, professional strongman.
Oh, yeah.
All we did for 6-7 years was train together, and we would just do heavy deadlifts, overhead press, squats, stones, tires. And I did that for and I forgot what real lifting, bodybuilding was like. So now that I've been on this kick, I was like, man, I need to stop doing that because I'm strong enough. There's no reason for me to get any stronger. I can deadlift 550. I don't want any more than that. My back hurts. So it's
yeah.
So I've been sparred, and that's what got me. I'm just actually now starting to implement finishers into my own program. I've been for the last 12 weeks just doing the slow cardio in the morning, and I know a lot of people always say you got to do one or the other, and that's a huge debate there. But for me, it's the finishers work really good now. Now that I'm about 15% body fat, or somewhere around there, that I'm hoping they're going to take me into that sub 10 range just by implementing them and slow cardio. So do you do any type of slow cardio, or I mean, I know it's your stand that you're against it, but do you feel, would you recommend it to people?
I do recommend people just staying active. And what I mean by that is choose something you actually enjoy. In other words, if you don't like doing cardio, don't force yourself to go to the gym and hop on the treadmill and things like that. But if you do enjoy a brisk walk in the afternoon around your neighborhood for 30 minutes, by all means do that, because more importantly, it's not so much the calorie burn from that, but more importantly, it's what it does for your mindset. when you get out and about and just walk for 30 minutes or just do something you enjoy, whether it's playing with your kids, playing some tennis, playing some pickup basketball, just something, just mentally, it clears your head, it puts you in the right mind frame. And that's why I always recommend just, doing something active on your off days.
Yeah, that's true. And do you recommend people do the fasted, like your like fasted finishers, or they? I mean, how do you tell people they add them into the end of the workouts, right? Or do you have them do separate things like just on their own days, like just a finisher for just some extra cardio? Is that something?
Well, it used to be when I first came out with them, it used to be where I would say only do the finisher immediately after your main workout. Mm-hmm. But after some experimentation and, of course, some reader and client feedback, I've found out that people doing their finishers on their off day, mm-hmm. they're losing weight a little quicker. Plus, they just enjoy it more. They found themselves easier to make better food choices and things like that. And I think it has a lot to do with you're doing something high intensity for as little as 3 minutes all the way up to 10 minutes, and it just puts you in the right mindset. And so it makes choosing foods a little better. You're going to make some better choices and things like that. Now, as far as doing it in a fasted state, it actually, in my opinion, I haven't really seen better benefits from one way or another. So I would say do what works for you. If you do it, for me personally, I'd rather work out on an empty stomach. So I usually work out typically around 10 in the morning, and then I eat first thing around 11:30. That's just what works for me, and of course everybody's different.
Yeah, that's about what I do now. I mean, I'm doing I'm mixing up the pretty much I'm training 5 days a week, and my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, Friday are at 9 a.m. I do usually 30 to 40 minutes just walking at an incline, and that's always on a fasted summit. Then I eat breakfast later, a little after that. Then I'll do my workouts, and then Monday, Wednesday, Friday now I'm doing on my lifting days, I'm doing the finishers after. So I'm hoping that gets me
sure.
all leaned up to where I want to be. But
yeah.
But for me, it's like I personally love slow cardio, and not because it may. I mean, I understand why it's effective, but it is boring as shit. And I don't try to tell people it's not. Like, if you don't like cardio, like, you're not going to stick to 5 days a week walking on a treadmill. Like, it's just awful.
Right. Yep.
So that's why I love the finishers, because finishers are fun. Like, they're like, all right, it's like 12 minutes. I can do this in 12 minutes. I can do this. I can do this in, and then you just do it. Like, and that's what I love about like the, at the end of the workout, you're like, oh, I got to do kettlebell swings and push-ups for 10 minutes. Oh, shit.
Right.
So it's to me, they're a lot of fun.
I think mentally there is a benefit there, because you see that, okay, hey, I don't have to hop on the treadmill or the elliptical for 45 minutes. I can knock out these these three exercises in succession as many times as I can in 6 minutes, and then I'm done. I could do this, and you just knock it out, and bam, you get the same benefit as if you were to hop on the treadmill for 30 minutes.
And definitely for those listening, don't mistake the short time frame as them being easy.
Right.
They look really simple on paper. Like when you go, oh, this isn't not bad at all. Then you do it and you're like, so do you do any type of like bodybuilding lifting, or you just strictly do the body weight stuff in the finishers?
I typically, like right now, I'm doing kind of moderate weight, somewhere between 8 to 12 reps, and then I finish it up with, sometimes I'll use a bodyweight finisher, sometimes I will use maybe some dumbbells or whatnot. But I've been on a bodyweight finisher kick, and right now I'm on a program where I'm just kind of experimenting, and I'm having a lot of fun. But I'm doing some metabolic resistance training first, and then I do some conditioning, and then I end it with a finisher. But everything is only typically like 4 exercises at the most. So I'm doing a grand total of maybe 10 exercises for the entire workout. And the finishers are really short and sweet. I would say they're averaging around 3 to 4 minutes right now. And it's just, I'm loving it. I'm loving my workouts these days.
That's all. And that's one of the things too, is you got to like what you're doing. Like, I mean, I go through phases all the time, and I was talking to JC Dean prior to being on here, is I tend to go all into things. Like, if I'm like, I love slow cardio. I'm like, I'll tell everybody, slow cardio is the shit. 12 weeks, that's all. But then like week 13, I'll be like, nah, man, finishers are where it's at. It's like you can't, but it's like, I feel like you have to have like a mentality like that. Like you got to go all in, like especially testing like new product ideas and different, formulas. Like you got to be able to shut things off and just kind of go, Well, I'm pretty sure this will work. Scientifically, it looks like it'll work. So I'm just gonna try it. I'm not gonna do anything else for 10 weeks. And I feel like that's the mentality, and a lot of people lack that type of mentality. Like I'm sure when you started out with your transformation, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna do this change for the next 6 months, and nothing's gonna stop that. And like people it's like they last like a week and then they fall off, and then they try and it just never works. And like I like to just get people in the mindset where it's like, if you can just commit to it for like 21 days, and I believe that there's like studies done for like, it takes 21 days to develop a habit.
Sure.
And it's like something as simple as like if you just woke up every morning and you walked for 20 minutes and you did 50 push-ups every day for the next 21 days, you would look substantially different on day 21 as you did on day 0. Sure. And then it's like, then you reassess, and I think people they always overthink things as well. It's like, well, that's not enough. I got to do more. And it's like, well, no. Okay, now you add in, like, let's say you add in pull-ups every day, and then you do that for the next 21 days. So now every day you're walking, doing push-ups and pull-ups. Then it's like, okay, well, I look okay, but I want to add in some weights. It's like, okay, well, then we'll check out these like little finisher program. Do this after that. Go to the gym and do this. And it's like, it's so simple when you really like break it down to the mentalities of like, just do this little bit every day, and I'm sure you can relate with the, the huge transformation. It's like, sure. At first it seems really daunting, like if you'd have told me, 16 weeks ago, I was like, you're going to be walking 5 days a week, lifting weights 5 days a week, and doing finishers 3 days a week, I'd have been like, man, fuck this, I'm going to go eat a cookie. Like, like that's how I would think. But it's like it started like, my Elliot's assistant, Chris, actually helped me design a program that like, was, at first it was like I did, intervals and then bodybuilding, 5 days a week. And then like after like 3 weeks, I added in the morning walks. And then now it's like I'm adding in, I'm doing the morning walks, cut that back down to like 2 to 3 days a week, adding in the finish at the end of my already workouts. And it's like, now I think about it, it's like it looks like a lot, but it's like it's really not a big deal because I'm already used to doing this much.
Sure.
Just adding it on. So I'm sure, I'm sure you mean your clients and customers and say like, a 3-minute finisher sounds like it's nothing, but like when you're conditioned where you can just crank out like kettlebell swings and pull-ups for 3 minutes in a row, you're gonna look substantially better than when you could just barely walk for 3 minutes. So
no doubt.
That's what.
And the thing I like about them too is people are going to see an improvement. Even just going up and down the stairs, or holding their kids for a long time, or being able to play with their kids. And that's what drives me. I have a 2-year-old son, and then I got one on the way that's doing about 5 weeks, and I want to have the energy to be able to play football, basketball, whatever it is that they choose to do. I want to be able to hang with them and be able to play those sports with them. And so that's why I use finishers with my own program. I've noticed just getting up and down the stairs is a lot easier, and it's little things like that just make life a little bit more enjoyable for sure.
Yeah, and it's funny you said that because just like you said 6 months ago, or before you started your transformation, you threw an interception on PlayStation, and now you're looking to go play football with your kids. It's kind of a funny.
It's a good parallel there.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so I'm gonna play football with my kid on the TV, and now we're like, hey, let's go get a football, get some cleats, and go run around for an hour.
Yeah,
and that's cool. Like I feel like people lack that in their days now. Everything's so structured. Like it's like, oh, I have to go to the gym. It's like, well, you should want to go to the gym so you can take your shirt off, not be depressed at yourself, and then take your shirt off and go play a game of flag football with your friends, or pick up basketball. Or just like I'm a cyclist. Like I've grown up racing BMX bikes, and now I have I ride my road bike, somewhere pretty much like 10, 15 miles a day, and that's just my for fun. Like that's what I like to do. So it's like when I started getting a little overweight, I was like, man, this is getting hard to ride my bike every day. I'm like, all right, well, I need to do something now.
Right.
So it's like just that people lack that enjoyment, I think, and they need to find that, like to be a kid again and do those things. A lot of people preach that, in their stuff, like just the play, like a lot of even like the playground workouts are so cool, like get people outside, like things like that, and it's awesome to see and talk to people that are actually doing things like that.
Absolutely, and that's a big key, because a lot of people force themselves to eat things that they don't like. They force themselves to do workouts that they don't like, and it's just a matter of finding something that you enjoy, and look at it a workout as a privilege and not so much as a chore. Because I mean, if we're given the opportunity to work out, I love working out. I love being able to go to the gym and just clear my head and just kind of be in my own world and release a bunch of tension and stress. And I come back rejuvenated. And I think everybody should feel that way. It's an outlet, not really a trap, as some people look at it as.
Yeah, and that's too, like, and I think at first everybody kind of goes into it with that mentality that it's like, they dread it. But it's
Sure.
like I said, once you just develop those habits, it becomes like when I do my morning cardio, I literally come back, I'll drink my protein shake, and my work is 100 times more productive after that. Like my day, like I'm not going to slip up on my lunch because I knew I've already put in my time in the morning. And now I'm like, I'm going to choose a healthy option for lunch. Then it's like, I'm not going to screw up my dinner because I just had this intense, arm day with a finisher. Like,
Right.
or like a leg day, like I squatted for 10 sets and did my, jump squats and pull-ups for a finisher or whatever. And it's like, I'm not going to go and eat something crappy because I'm be like, man, I just did this work. I want to keep it up. So it becomes that lifestyle. And that's the way people need to realize. I don't know if you watch people online, but I love watching Greg Plitt. I don't know if you seen any of his fitness videos.
No.
He's a fitness model, but he's just like super intense and really like motivational. And
Yeah.
I love watching his stuff. He's an awesome guy. But he's like, you gotta be it. You gotta just transform. He's like, but once you do it, you don't have to worry about it much anymore. Like it's so much easier, and you'll probably know it's so easy to maintain once you go through that, I guess, hell for like say a year of like buckling down, being strict, and changing your life. So like now it's like, if you want to go eat chocolate cake and cookies, it's not a big deal. Like you can. You're not just going to put on 100 pounds.
Right. Exactly.
So that's what I never realized until I started doing what I'm doing now and really started to see like abs and stuff. I'm like, well, I can go out and drink and eat like kind of a crappy meal. I wake up, I don't look as good, but then I do cardio and another workout. And I'm like, wow, I look good again.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's all about balance.
yeah, it's like, with that. So what type of diet do you follow? Or do you recommend your clients follow? That I know you say you don't keep it too strict, but what's it kind of consist of?
That's what I really enjoy, different approaches. And I kind of look at my diet as my workouts. And you'll be surprised, but I actually change that up every 4 weeks just because I get bored with a certain amount of, a certain type of diet. One thing, though, that's been a staple, though, for, I would say, going on almost 3 years now, and that's intermittent fasting, whether it's a daily 16-hour fast, or if it's 1 to 2 24-hour fast like you find with Brad Pilon and his program, things like that. But for the most part, I keep it very simple. Like right now, I'm on a system where I do a day fast. I have a shake and some cashews with some almond milk at lunch, and then at night it's a huge salad. I mean, I'm guessing no less than like 8 cups of lettuce. I mean, I just go all out, and then I mix up some olive oil and some vinaigrette and just shake it up, pour it on there, and then I'll do some chicken and whatnot. I definitely don't like my food being boring, so I do use a variety of like hot sauces and seasonings and things like that. But I just keep it simple. And I'm an everyday Joe. So Friday night I have my pizza. Sunday, football's on, so I have my beef nachos and my chips and salsa, and I enjoy myself. But the fact that I've got balance in my life and I know how to kind of offset that during the week, that's what it's all about. And so I enjoy myself, and I keep my calories relatively low during the week, and then on the weekends I usually have 2, sometimes 3 cheat meals over the weekend, and then I get back on track during the week. And I've been able to keep off my 105 pounds that way.
Nice. What's your favorite cheat meal?
Without a doubt, it's beef nachos. Between that and pancakes, I love pancakes. You probably heard I'm known as Mr. Pancakes. And, I think Craig Valentine has called me Mr. Pancakes numerous times, but I could eat pancakes every day. If there was a pancake diet that is successful, I would be on it 24/7. I love pancakes.
And not protein pancakes. You want like the syrup and the butter. Yeah. Oh,
yeah, no doubt. Smothered in syrup. I go all out.
That's awesome. I love funny enough, like I eat a lot of Chipotle, and I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you have Chipotle where you are, but
sure.
When I'm just eating healthy like throughout the week, it's just like a meat plate with like vegetables and some guacamole. But like I get excited to go because like I'm really intolerant to dairy, so I try to keep it to a minimum. And it's like I just want to have like sour cream loaded up on that thing, like cheese, and then the burrito. I'm like, oh, that's a cheat. And it sounds so like it's not even really a cheat meal, but it's like I'm like, man, I just I'll go to if you go to the same restaurants a lot, and that this comes down to like your mindset and things too. It's like you do order the same things kind of over and over again. You got to get used to kind of eating similar foods, you know.
Sure.
So it's like I go to Chipotle and like I'm probably there, you know, between lunch and dinner, probably 3-4 times a week, getting my little like my bowl, you know, with just meat and vegetables. And then one day like I'll order like the not meat and vegetables, and the girls that work there, the guys that work there are like, oh, changing it up today, and I'm like, yeah. But it's like just little things like that. It's like the stupidest things that you loathe for when you want to cheat. You're like, oh, I can't wait. I can have a chocolate chip cookie on Saturday.
Right. Yep. And I think it's actually important to break away from your normal routine and you know have some foods that you enjoy, because it just kind of keeps you mentally in the game, and it gives you a little break, and you're not so strict, you know, 7 days a week. Because if you go in 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and you're so strict all the time, you're eventually going to burn out. Whether it's a week from now or 4 weeks from now, it's going to happen. That's just what happens. And so that's really why I like Brad's approach. And he just make better choices and fast 1 or 2 times a week, and you know, just be smart about your choices. You know, obviously it doesn't mean just because you're fasting doesn't mean you can have an entire pie on a Thursday night, but it doesn't mean that you can't have a slice of pie every now and again and enjoy yourself. So I think people kind of overthink it sometimes.
Yeah, I follow. I don't know if on Twitter I follow a lot of a lot of guys and like bodybuilders and stuff, and it's like they always post up like their epic cheat meals, and it's like funny enough, like the new movie coming out, I think it's in March with The Rock and Mark Wahlberg called Pain and Gain. It's a big bodybuilding movie. Like The Rock on Twitter has been like dieting and training, and obviously using quite a bit of anabolic steroids, but that's a whole other topic. But he posted a picture, and it's you mentioned pancakes, and he had a stack of pancakes like this tall. And he's like, I haven't cheated in 12 weeks. And he's like, and I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah. Just to have like those epic, like I'm going to eat however much I want, as much as I want today. And the funny thing is if prior to that meal you did like a finisher, that meal it didn't even matter, because it's not going to affect you at all.
Right. Yep.
So that's a good one. So talk to me about, I know you have 2 different types of finisher products out. You did one with our buddy Travis Stolzel, and that was more like the hardcore style finishers. And then your, claim to fame and like, main one is like the bodyweight finishers. So tell me what's the differences between the two, and a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's crazy how many products I have. It's really going to only explode in this year. But the project I did with Travis that's really, and I loved his approach, and so that's why I worked with him. But it's about pushing the tire. It's about pushing the sled and things like that. They're called hardcore finishers for a reason, and so they're really going to pull every ounce of strength out of you. And of course, that's why I partnered with Travis, because that's what he does. That's what he specializes in, and so that was a lot of fun. But the one I just came out with is bodyweight finishers, and that has been a much bigger hit than I even anticipated. And I think it's because there's a lot of bodyweight programs out there, but they still require something, whether it's a stability ball or a pull-up bar or some straps or something. And so my approach with these bodyweight finishers is I literally made it zero equipment, as in you don't need a single thing. And also what I did compared to my original workout finishers was the bodyweight finishers are actually a little shorter, but the bad news is they're a little more intense. And so I would say on average, they're about 5 minutes long. There's some in there that are as short as 3 minutes, and of course some are a little longer. But I used a lot of what's called the density approach, and it's been getting a lot of great feedback. And what I like about that approach is you basically do as much as you can in a short time frame. So let's say, for instance, you have a circuit of burpees, just 3, bodyweight squats, just 3, and then close grip push-ups, just 3. Now, looking at it on paper, 3 rounds of 3 reps each, that's nothing. But when you do as many rounds as you can in, say, 3 to 5 minutes,
Yep.
obviously you're going to get through a ton of rounds and your shirt's going to be soaked. But it kind of gets away from the standard 3 sets of 10 approach. So it's a good way to just really just put something new and fresh and innovating into your workouts.
I have a feeling you include a lot of burpees in bodyweight finishers. Is that?
There is quite a bit of burpees in there. But what's cool is I put a variety in there. One of my favorite exercises, a lot of people don't know about this, is the burpee Spider-Man push-up combo. And what I've done is I combine the Spider-Man push-up and the burpee into one movement. So you do the burpee, you kick your legs out, but instead of performing just a regular push-up, you actually bend your leg as you go down, and then you do the opposite with the other leg. You do 1 rep on each side, then bring your feet in, and then jump back up. And so it's a good way to kind of get those abs engaged just a little bit more and little things like that.
Yeah, that sounds intense. That's because you're restricting your breathing while you're burying the legs. That just sounds like sounds like a puker. Good stuff. Well, I'm gonna put links below the video and then probably popping up inside the video too by now, so you can check out Mike's 2 products. I'm more partial to the hardcore stuff just because I train at a gym that has tires, sleds, and all that type of stuff. But if you're not at a place like that, bodyweight finishers are awesome. And you have other ones too. I don't want to. Those are 2. Once you kind of check those 2 out, you'll probably fall in love with Mike's products. But what are some of the other ones you got out right now?
Well, I got the original flagship product, which is workout finishers, and that's kind of a mixture of dumbbell exercises and body weights and body weight. And the cool thing about that, I think there's like 5 programs in one with that one right now. So that one's a real popular, but that's going to change once I release 2.0, which is coming out later, which I'm really excited about. And then I have ab finishers where it's very heavily ab focused, so you're going to work your core much, much harder, and it's really ab focused mixed in with, of course, the finisher effect. So you're going to be doing finisher moves, but we also got advanced core moves in with those as well. And then, of course, I got like individual programs that I offer every once in a while. And as a matter of fact, there's one called interval finishers, which I don't even have an official sales page up yet, but it's a combination of interval training and finishers. So it's pretty crazy, but it's a lot of fun too, though.
That's awesome. So I always like to ask you, what was the hardest? What's the first workout you think of when you think the hardest workout I've ever done? What comes to mind for Mike Whitfield?
Without a doubt, it wasn't even my own. And when people ask me that, it's no doubt it's Craig Ballantyne's. It's his original metabolic resistance training program I think it's from May of 2011, and it's Workout B. That's how specific I have it. That thing kicks my butt I've done it 4 times now. No matter how many times I've done it, it kicks my butt every single time. It just wears me out and defeats me, and I just can't seem to defeat it. But that one kicks my butt every time, without a doubt.
Good stuff, man. Well, thanks again. For the guys listening to this call, or you listening click any of the links below this video or above. Check out Mike's stuff. It's really, really awesome. It's geared towards people that don't have all day to spend in the gym. They want to get a kick butt workout in right at the end of their workouts, or you can even do them as standalone workouts in themselves. So check out his stuff. He's a real good guy, as you can see from the video. Very awesome story. He's lost 105 pounds. You don't do that without figuring something out. So. Like I said, Mike, thanks again for coming on this call. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Do you have what's your, I know besides your sales sites, do you have like a main blog or a Facebook that you want people to check you out at?
I sure do. My Facebook page is facebook.com/workout finishers. That's my Facebook page. And then you can find my blog at trainwithfinishers.com. That's my blog where I talk about, obviously, finishers and metabolic resistance training and even some nutrition stuff.
Cool. Good stuff. Yeah, check out his stuff and give him a follow. He's always coming out with innovative stuff, and you're friends with a lot of the right people in the industry too, so that's always a good thing.
Well, thanks, man.
Good stuff. Well, hang on one second on the line. Let me end the call. Thanks a lot, guys, for listening in. This concludes the interview.